all week.
Thank you, guys.
You ready? Tracy?
Yes, thank you.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to the March 17th regular meeting of the Albany County Commissioners and wish you all a very happy St. Patrick's Day. First order of business is call to order and roll call. Commissioner Gozar?
Here.
Commissioner Hawk?
Here.
Commissioner Jones, present. Please stand and join me for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do not have a public hearing this morning. Do I have any comments from the public, either in the room or online? Come on up, Nita.
Yeah. So, I'm Juanita Engen. I'm one of the owners of the Trading Post in Centennial. We're here to have our liquor license returned back to us. I just wanted to explain a
Okay,
little
do you
bit.
want to wait till we get to that item?
Oh, not now?
Well, you could do it now, but it might be better to have it at the time that we're doing that item.
Oh, okay. I can.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
worries.
okay. I know nobody wants to miss their
Yeah.
opportunities, and I mean that in a genuine way, not a unfriendly way. So is there anyone else that would like to make public comment either in the room or online? We have a motion to close the
I
public.
move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. It's public comment. Item 5, consideration of changes to the agenda.
I don't have any.
Sorry, I have,
Oh,
I need to pull item 10. I just don't have the amended agreement yet from Eagle View. Jump to the gun.
And if you wouldn't have, they would have had it.
Okay.
thank you. Disclosures,
Nor I.
nor I. Item 7, approval of consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 8 of the regular agenda, acknowledge receipts and distribution of the U.S. Forest Service reserve funds based on secure rural schools and Community Self-Determination Act of 2000 for the federal fiscal year 2024 in the amount of $256,063 without sequestration for Title I and direct the clerk to advertise Title III funds in the amount of $25,016.94 without sequestration for proposed authority county projects. Boy, that was a hard one to read.
It was. Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. First of all, I'd like the record to show I'm coming here with good news. First time in a while that I've
Good.
provided any kind of good news before you. But this one is good news. So last year, in May, I think it was May 5th, right in there at your meeting, I was presenting a different picture for the Forest Reserve funds that we weren't ever going to get it again, nor were we ever going to get Title III funds again. So this is money after they reauthorized it, going back to that date. So this is paying us for that May of 2025 payment that we received that we didn't think we would. So we should also get a payment for this federal fiscal year 25, but that won't come until probably a little bit later. Excuse me, like May or so. So this I went through and as you'll see in the worksheet, I kind of just divvied it up like we have in the past. Doesn't mean that's how you have to do it. As far as Title I, between the road construction monies, and the school district, we are kind of bound by that. But as far as Title III, if you had other projects that were qualified under their guidelines, you could divvy it up differently than we have in the past, where we've typically split it 50-50 between the fire warden and the sheriff's office. And that's all I have. If I have any questions?
Well, we acknowledge receipt of the distributions of the U.S. Forest Service Reserve Fund based on the Secure Rural Schools and Community Self-Determination Act of 2000 for the federal fiscal year 2024 in the amount of $205,256.63 without sequestration for Title I, and direct the clerk to advertise Title III funding in the amount of $25,016.94 without sequestration for proposed authorized county projects.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You did a good job of reading that.
I got once you struggle, I start reading pretty quick.
Thank you for that, Commissioner.
Item 9, discuss county fiscal position update and mid-year review. Tracy.
I have a little information on our financial position. I don't have the mid-year review solely because I don't know what happened to my original file, but all my data was gone, so I had to redo it yesterday. Come on. Oh, I gotta start over here. There we go. So this is more a result of our end of our fiscal year, which these are based on our unaudited numbers. So it's gonna just be another presentation once the audit is complete, and then, but this will just kind of give you an idea of where we are. I do have handouts for you that you can have afterwards, but I have a little like quiz thing going on in here. So that has the answers, so you can't have them yet.
I was not prepared.
I was gonna say it's too loud in the morning.
I'm gonna give you all the
I
information.
moved to table the item there.
Well, we sure could, but it won't change that I'm gonna do it down the road. So many of you know that the major revenues in our county is property taxes for the current year. So these are ranked the top 10 revenues. And then you can see the very bottom item where it says all other revenues. That's a combination of everything else that's not in those top 10. So the majority of our revenues is property tax, sales tax, payment in lieu of taxes from our federal government, transfers in from other different funds such as direct aid, where we help offset like fuel costs, auditor costs, utilities and such, our motor vehicle taxes, our bank interest distribution, since we have changed banks and also been doing some different things with our investments, our interest is looking really good. Fuel taxes, the fees that the county clerk's office brings in, severance tax and our mineral royalties, and then gas tax. Ultimately, those make our top 10 revenues.
Tracy, is grants in that all other? Where are grants at in that?
In the indirect cost rate, these are just general fund. Well,
Okay.
This is our general fund. This is
Gotcha.
basically the only money we really get to dictate what we get to do with, as you know. So you can kind of see on expenditures where all others at the bottom, that's the majority. So everything kind of culminates. Our medical insurance, which those are the insurance provided to our employees, that is our greatest expense. Our premiums, they add up. Next is our transfer to other funds. So we're also, any funds that we have remaining left over, we're transferring that into some various reserves just to help ourselves, perhaps, to attain a new building in the future, or salary stabilization, some of those other things that we've been working on. And then you can see salaries. Everything else is pretty much salaries. Because we're such a service industry, of course, that's what it takes to make our jobs happen. All right, here's part of where the quiz is going to start. So we have different fund balance classifications for all of our different fund balances or caches on hand. Non-spendable, that can't be spent because it's not in a spendable form. For instance, like inventories, how many culverts Jeremy has out there, we can't spend those. Be great to go back to the barter system, but I don't think it's happening in my lifetime. Restricted, those are constrained by external sources, so maybe through legislative or, federal grants or whatnot. Committed are amounts only allowed for specific purposes, and they have constraints of formal action. For instance, our budget would be a constraint or committed because you guys have made that budget by resolution. Assigned are amounts constrained by our government for the intent to be used for a specific purpose, but they're not restricted or committed. So maybe we didn't take formal action, but we wanted to set that aside for a new building or whatever the case may be. And unassigned, which is what's left over after everything else is taken over. And we can use that for our general obligations. Okay, little quiz. I'll start with you, Pete. The jail endowment, under those classifications, what do you think that one is?
That's assigned.
Incorrect.
Constrained.
Oh, this is not good.
It is constrained, but that wasn't a category. Jail endowment would be non-spendable. And that is non-spendable because it's an endowment created for using the interest earnings to help offset maintenance costs at our jail. So it's constrained and it's restricted and non-spendable because our voters told us that's how they wanted to use it. So we have to leave that sit there. That corpus amount of $1,067,000 can never change unless we ask the voters down the road, hey, can we use that for something else? I don't think we ever would because it does earn fairly good interest. How about the county road fund, Thad?
It's assigned but not allocated, or not permanently allocated.
That one is restricted.
I would have gotten that right, Tracy.
I should ask you because you were on that committee. Oh, shoot. That one is restricted because there's statutes around our county road fund. So we can only use it for, creating new roads or building new roads or major maintenance or projects that are pretty large. Also, statute allows us now to take 100,000 each year from our county road fund and set it aside towards equipment purchases.
But that's a specific purchase too. That's a greater or.
That's why it's, yeah.
All right. How about capital facilities and specific purpose taxes? Okay,
Restricted.
very good.
Thank you.
Look at that. Girls rule.
Boys do this.
That is restricted because there are, it's around that vote, it's around that balloted item. And as we all know, we have one of those coming up. So those can only be used for those specific purposes that were voted on. Let's jump forward to, how about 1% optional? Anybody?
1% optional would be 5%, the general purpose.
Yep.
Give me the categories again. It's the second from the bottom.
There's non-spendable, restricted, committed, assigned, or unassigned.
Assigned.
Very good. It is assigned because where we can use it for various general fund things or general government uses, but we're assigning it ourselves. The voters do approve it though. So it could go several ways. And then you can see there's our general fund down there that's unassigned and that's available to use for our general obligations and pay our bills. So there's the categories. This is why you didn't get the handout ahead of time because it's all color coded in there. And I won't spend a lot of time on it, but I can definitely pass these out. Or maybe Jennifer would
I can
pass
pass
these
that
out. All right. And lastly, I want to talk about our county reserves. So the number that is in the restricted or it's doesn't necessarily translate equally to what our county reserves are on this sheet. And because some of our reserves, we did take formal action. For instance, the employee compensation, that is tied to our budget, that's with resolutions, so that is restricted. Many of these other things are emergency reserves as well, but many of the other things are just through our business processes. So these are our balances. They don't include any of the transfers that we're going to be doing this fiscal year. We do that kind of at the end of this fiscal year. But that kind of gives you an idea of where our reserves are. And the reason I want to bring this up is because there are a number of things that point like that way when we report to the state that shows that maybe we have $53 million in reserves, and why don't we build that courthouse ourselves with our own money? Well, we don't, because it's all restricted or assigned or has to be used for those sources such as federal grants, or the county road fund can only be used for that. And we're further restricting things for our use on these other items as well. So that is my brief thing. I kind of want to start doing a little tutorial on some of these things. I don't know how often. I'm gonna have to get better at that data before I delete. I think I was operator error on my mid-year review stuff, but I would be happy to answer any questions.
So in light of the windstorm and the fairgrounds, spending $2 million from the emergency reserve account to build the new courthouse doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense, in your opinion, as it does mine, I imagine.
No, those are those things where it's sure nice if we had some reserves sitting around for when a roof blows off. All of us, I think, probably had a little damage in their personal homes, and I don't have any reserves in my home to build my shed that blew down. But also I know that shed probably wasn't worth a whole lot because Chelsea also told me so. When I took it off my house, she gave me this. But,
Trying to get that off the taxes already, are we?
oh, I did. I did. My husband has been married to a tax for too long. That was the first thing out of his mouth. You need to get that off the tax.
Well, that's because yours aren't made out of like brick or block.
No, yes, and it's been there longer than we have, so, but in any case, I don't have reserves for that personally, but I have insurance, and that's why we carry insurance too, for those kind of things, but it would be hard to just take all these funds, yes, in answer to your question, Pete, is to go towards a new building. You know, if we're looking at different revenue streams kind of getting lessened or maybe perhaps going away, it would sure be nice for our employees to know that we have this compensation reserve, that their jobs might be secure and we don't have to potentially lose 22 employees or whatever the case may be. And the building reserve is the same as far as the roof, or who knows what else could happen between. I'm not gonna say it out loud because we don't need another windstorm.
Well, and yesterday the boiler was out
Still is.
in the courthouse.
It's still half.
Well,
it
it's
is
warmer
chilly in
this
here.
morning than it was yesterday.
He's still trying to get the other side lit today.
Yeah.
So Tracy, I also appreciate that of the 52,864 million that's balanced in reserves, 2/3 of it is either restricted, committed, or non-spendable. So, you know, you were looking at 16, 18 million that you might have some authority over. And of that, I think when I came here 8 years ago, we had maybe a couple months in reserve, and now we probably have a little over 6 months. Every business, every organization I've dealt with, that 6 months is a minimum you want held in reserve to keep your operations going should something happen. So I think that bears understanding out there, and I thank you for this presentation because that's helpful, not only to me, but maybe to other people listening about. It might look like we have 53 million laying around, but that 53 million ain't spendable, all of it.
No, and that is very accurate. I mean, we do have some monies that are in your purview to use as we may need, but there's a lot more that is not in your purview to move around.
Well, I think this was an excellent presentation. And what's really nice about it is it's online. So people can go back
Yes.
and listen to it and see it. So thank you very much, Tracy.
Yes, you're very welcome. I appreciate you guys taking the time to.
I have a
entertain
question
us.
for you. Would you consider this a healthy position for this, for the county?
Yes, given my experience here when I first started back in 2003, our cash balance at the end of that year, and don't ask me why I remember this number, was $651,877.
I remember 800,000 1 year back then, and that's, okay.
That was how much cash we had, and we very much were, like a better way to phrase it, living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
We have grown. We've been able to be really frugal here in our county. We take care of what has to be taken care of. And it's just wise, I guess, that we made it this far. And we haven't, I don't feel like there's any wasteful spending in our county. We have expenses that arise that we had to defer, like maintenance for so long on roofs or other things that it's nice to know that we can do those things now and play catch up. So yes, I feel like we're in a healthy spot right now.
Yeah, I think it bears repeating that we're still on the same staffing levels as we were in 2017. So I know Road and Bridge has had a couple of positions since 2017. So in a decade, we haven't returned to positions that we had years ago. So I think if it's being said that, we're profligate in our spending, I just say, well, we're doing the same amount of work, if not more, with Road and Bridge, with 2 people less. And there's a point where you won't do the work if you keep cutting. So.
And to add on to that, it's not something that technology can take up the slack on. It's not something we can throw AI at and buy a subscription. We still need boots on the ground or people in machines.
I don't think there's any office that could be replaced by AI or technology. I think some of our transactions, we still have to manually, even if they're paying online through our iReg system, we still have to manually assign a tab number, and somebody has to put that in the mail to everybody. So there's so many things that we look at being thrifty or more efficient in, I guess is the word. But yeah, they're non-replaceable.
Okay, so are you bringing back another quiz?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Girls rule. Way to go, Ted.
All right. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Item 10 was removed. Item 11, present for approval amended and restated agreement between Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming by and through Albany County Assessor's Office and Thomas Y. Pickett and Company for industrial appraisal services.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
This is just an amended agreement with our contract with TY Pickett. So as you guys know, they do the valuations for the wind farms. There is a difference between public utility wind farms and private utility wind farms. So I'm responsible for assessing private. The state assesses public. Rock Creek Wind has actually sold to Pacificor, who is a public utility. So the state will be assessing them. So I have adjusted our contract with TY Pickett. Well, we will no longer be paying for their services for that assessment.
Jesse, it's not a whole lot happening with rail tie. I guess paying for the appraisal at 26 seems like somebody just to go out there and say there's not a whole lot else happening out there. Your thoughts on that?
So I know that the construction has paused, but they did start roads and they did start digging the foundations. And so they do, in my opinion, they still need to be assessed. What I pay is kind of it's really, really low for rail tie. I can't remember exactly what it is right now.
1,000 and 1,500.
Yeah, so as they progress more through construction, that fee will go up, but because it's so minimal, I feel like it's worth it. Boswell Wind was a situation like that where they started the roads and they sat there for 3 years, but we still collected taxes on the construction of those roads. And it was well above $1,500. So we're making money in the end.
Thank you.
That's always good. Yeah.
I move that we approve the amended and restated agreement between the Board of County Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming, by and through the Albany County Assessor's Office and T.Y. Pickett and Company for the industrial appraisal services.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 12, present for approval agreement between the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming and Terra GIS Limited for map server system. Chelsea.
Good morning again. So this is just an updated contract between Terra GIS. This is our online ownership map. So it did go up $342. This is good for a year, and really other than the price increase, nothing else has changed.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the agreement between the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming and Terra GIS Limited for map server system.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you. Item 13, present for approval, tax roll correction for Nicholas and Tangeman LLC in the amount of $39.93 for 2025 taxes paid for account P637. Chelsea.
So this is just a tax roll correction for Nicholas and Tangeman LLC. They submitted their declaration for personal property and we forgot to remove an item. So it's just refunding them the money for that item that we didn't remove.
Move that we approve the tax roll correction for Nicholas and Tangeman LLC in the amount of $39.93 for 2025 taxes paid for account P637.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 14, present for approval, tax roll correction for Mountain Cement Company in the amount of $24,887.93 from account C90580501011.
This is another tax roll correction. This is the minerals that Mountain Cement pulls. It is actually state assessed, so I don't do the appraisals on those. What happens is the companies will report what they're anticipating pulling, and then they will be assessed on that. And then if they don't actually pull that many minerals, then we have to refund what they've anticipated if it's short. So much larger tax roll correction, but it is what it is.
I move that we approve the tax roll correction for Mountain Cement Company in the amount of $24,887.93 for the account C90580501011.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Update on the plat project review. Skip one? No. Update on the plat project review, Chelsea.
This is my last item. I just wanted to touch base with you all and let you know, with everything that happened with Aliquot, we did meet with the public on that, and we did settle all of that. I think the public that lives out there understands why we did what we did and what happened. My office was able to review every single plat in the county to make sure there weren't any other similar situations, and I'm happy to report that everything looks on the up and up. It was just a quick and dirty review, but I'm pretty confident that there won't be any other situations like that.
And this was just the road being attached to the ownership of the property or something that they couldn't use for development purposes. that was still being taxed. Okay.
Chelsea, thank you for spending and that had to take a lot of time to go through everything. So thank you very much.
Yes, you're very welcome.
And she did do an information session with the owners.
Yeah.
Which was very well received.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Chelsea. Item 16, present for approval approach license for Loudwire Minerals LLC on County Road 241, Pumpkin Vine Road, Section 36, Township 13 North, Range 72 West. Jeremy, good morning.
Morning. They're extending their mining operations to the north side of the road. That's just them access. And their intent is to haul material from the north side back across to their existing processing plant
Literally driving up
across the street. Yep.
Okay.
I move that we approve the approach license for Loudwire Minerals LLC on County Road 241, Pumpkin Vine Road, Section 36, Township 15, North, Range 72 West. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Present for approval road use agreement by and between the Board of Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming and Loudwire Minerals LLC for Albany County roads utilized for the Sherman Hills Quarry.
Yep.
Good morning again.
Morning. The road use agreement for that same operation has been finalized. And it's just basically outlines their responsibility for any impact made to county road.
And this is just basically the turn off of 287 on Pumpkin Vine all the way back to where they're
Their
quarrying.
turn off is just.
Are they mining or are they quarrying? It's quarry.
But okay, yeah.
Yeah, quarry.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I have no objection. I move that we approve the road use agreement by and between the Board of County Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming and Loudwire Minerals LLC for Albany County road utilization for the Sherman Hills Quarry.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Jeremy, thank you. Item 18, ratify grant application for the Wyoming Office of Family Services, Community Juvenile Services Board Grant 2026 through 2028. Haley, good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. This grant, we apply for every other year. And they changed it up this year as a different format than I've ever had in front of you before. They released an RFA. It was definitely a little more complicated to get through. I think they're gonna see that as well with all the applications they get. But the one thing that was good about it is we're usually told the amount that we're able to apply for. And this year we can shoot for the stars. So this funding goes to the juvenile diversion program at Big Brothers Big Sisters. We contract with them to do that. So we're asking for $109,088. There is match required with this grant. So match would be $16,363.20. We are able to do collect in-kind dollars on this for our match, and we usually have no problem doing that. Any questions?
And just a quick question, I think the state pays a certain amount of each one of our county attorneys' salary. We can't use that piece of their salary as match for this.
This,
Is that correct?
no, not for this program, but the attorney that is on juvenile does come to those meetings. So we are able to use his time, because CJSB funding is specifically state funding. So I'm more flexible to use than Andrew's time, for instance, because he's federally paid. I'm still able to use his time. So anybody that goes to any of the single point of entry meetings, the regular CJSB meetings, if it comes down to it, I can start recording my time that I spend on this grant and I can use that. So yep, we usually don't have a problem with this, even with requesting. This is about $50,000 more that we're requesting for the 2 years. Brady and I looked at the numbers and we think it should be just fine.
Thank you for that, I appreciate it.
And I just have a question for you in the ability to participate in this. Who determines the likelihood of the substance being used disorder as a factor in the commission of the offense? Is that something?
Do you know the answer to that, Jonathan?
Substance use disorder, is
Yeah,
that?
is it the crime being committed while a juvenile's under the influence of something, or is it that didn't make any sense to me because that's kind of a subjective thing that, I mean, everybody could potentially, if they're around cigarettes or be under some kind of,
So substance use disorder, sorry, what page are you on?
07.
Okay, hold on.
And it's the third bullet point.
I wasn't on the right page.
It's
So
in-
substance use disorder is something that is specifically defined within the grant system and within the treatment programs. So I believe that's evaluated when they get their assessments, when they come in. And then it is, and I can't find it right here in front of me, I'm sorry. It is something then that there is funding and additional funding sometimes when there's substance use disorder as opposed to like alcohol use or any of those things. I'm not even sure tobacco use qualifies in substance use.
That's why I was a little, it's kind of a vague.
Yeah.
Caveat there. Okay. And my other question is, where's the match money come?
It's all in kind, so we don't need, so it's time,
Got it,
basically, of
okay.
people.
Well, I move we ratify the grant application for the Wyoming Office of Family Services Community Juvenile Services Board, CJSB, grant 2026 to 2020.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 19, present for approval the 2026 grant application to the Wyoming Department of Agriculture for Emergency Insect Management Grant for Mosquito Control Services Resources. Bailey.
So this is just our annual mosquito grant. We'll put in the applications that'll hopefully award us funds, and then we'll go back to the drawing board on how we divide that up over the districts. There is a match, it's a 50% match. At this point, we're perfectly fine on match, with what the districts have, are able to come up with, and Weed and Pest usually throws matching too. Once we are awarded, the commissioners usually, put a little bit towards that match as well, which we'll discuss later on.
I move that we approve the 2026 grant application to the Wyoming Department of Agriculture for the Emergency Insect Management Program, grant for mosquito control services and resources.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Bailey. Item 20, present for approval funding from Wyoming Department of Health pursuant to Wyoming Statute 9-24-104 for the purpose of funding county health programs to prevent and treat problematic gambling behavior in the amount of $27,307.29 for SFY 26. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning,
Good to see you.
Commissioners. Good to see you as well. The $27,000 is our annual allotment of the $300,000 that are returned to the counties each year. That was part of the legislation when they legalized sports betting. So I'm hoping to accept those funds and continue working on gambling prevention. So be happy to answer any questions.
Gambling prevention, Andrew, what has been the most efficacious approach to it? Is it early at the schools?
Yeah, I think what's difficult, especially with sports betting, is the age of use is getting younger and younger. The research is showing that young men 18 to 30 are essentially the highest rate of users for sports betting. And then you add in, new trends and things like prediction markets and, brick and mortar casinos and things like that. Unfortunately, the rate of gambling, I think, is exploding past our ability to keep up with it with any sort of education or intervention. So unfortunately, the age is getting younger and younger. So
how are they seeing, I'm just amazed at the number of advertisements on TV for online gambling. And I can't help but think that's just going to increase the rate exponentially.
yeah, I agree. It's like I said, it's becoming so common. And with the funding, the last few years I've run a commercial at Wyoming football games on the video screen. And I do that because it hits a large population of people, at a sporting event for sports betting purposes. This afternoon, I'm meeting with a company called GAMFIN, GAMFIN. And what they do is they do financial education and counseling for people specifically with gambling addictions. So I'm exploring using some of these fundings to essentially prepay for Albany County residents to access those services.
And I'm assuming we were notified yesterday via email that one of the gambling locations has shut down. The Wyoming Downs is shuttered as of March 11th.
Okay.
So the brick and mortar may be going away. We keep delivering it right to the hands of everybody with a phone in their hand.
Yeah, that's the difficulty. Hopefully, we're not following suit with some other states that make table games and other things like that accessible through mobile apps. But there's also, overseas casinos that operate via cryptocurrencies. You can deposit and withdraw funds with, your crypto wallet and play those same games as well. So, like you said, it's exploding essentially. So.
Well, Madam Chair, I move that we approve the funding for the Wyoming Department of Health pursuant to Wyoming Statute 924-104 for the purposes of funding county health programs for the treat and treat problematic gambling behavior in the amount of $27,307.89 for fiscal year 26.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Item 21, present for approval rate agreement between Albany County Prevention and Kalen Marketing Solutions in the amount of $125 per hour for website updates, project management, and design work starting March 17th, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2026. Well, good morning again.
Good morning again. Callan Marketing Solutions is who I use for all of my media. They manage my website, help me with designing different projects. They'd gotten into the habit of sending me small contracts for any work that they were doing for me, which meant I'd have to bring them before you all. Not that I don't enjoy coming to see you every other week, but this contract essentially gets us to the end of the grant cycle, June 30th, and just at their standard rate of $125 per hour for the services they provide for me.
Have you had any problems with them?
No, honestly, they're been great to work with. I've been working with them since.
I'm just looking at their scope of work and it's minimal at best. So as long as you're happy with it and you know what their performance level is going to be.
Yes, and for my needs, I think they meet my needs.
Okay.
So, yep.
Any local companies not in Casper that do this work?
Yeah, that's a good question. I kind of inherited them, and I don't know what the process is like to change over website management and things like that. It has been something I've considered, but like I said, I've been happy with the work they've provided for me. And historically, they've been willing to travel down here for coalition meetings and different things like that if I've asked them to. So I can certainly look for local companies starting with the next grant cycle.
Well, that would be, I
Yeah,
think that's always the way, if it's not here, then it's not here. And if it's inferior here, then it's inferior here, but people who pay taxes here help fund us.
sure.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, I think if it's available, it's always good to look at local, always.
Chair, I move that we approve the rate agreement between the Albany County Prevention Talent Marketing Solutions, the amount of $125 per hour for website updates, project management, design work starting March 17th, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2026.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I wanted to say one thing, and that I thought the marketing that you did at the basketball games was fantastic.
Thank you.
And so thank you very much for that. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 22, present for approval. Grant application to the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security 2022-2023 SHSP funding to support the purchase of a generator for Wyco Fire Department. Kate, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Commissioners.
So this application or this item and the next one are both leftover SHSP funding that needs to be spent right away. And because of that, our asks are going to be in preparation for this upcoming fire season. The first one is the generator for Wyco VFD, which would provide us a emergency shelter, which we don't have in that area. And also increase fire management and suppression, making sure that the station can operate if there's a power outage or some sort of emergency or natural disaster up there.
Which fire station couldn't get their garage doors open last week?
I don't know.
One of them couldn't get the trucks out of the,
Oh, it was Big Laramie because
It was
the
Big
power
Laramie,
was out
okay.
and they are already getting a
Okay.
generator through another avenue.
just.
Can't they pull the ropes
Yeah,
and
you gotta
open it?
find a ladder or climb on the truck to do it for every one of them.
Wow,
They got out. We were good.
Okay.
good.
I did get another quote this morning from Electrical Solutions, which was significantly cheaper in the amount of $15,725. So, and I'm waiting on a third one before we put a final amount on our ask. This grant is 100% funded if awarded, unless we just get partial funding. So no match from the county.
So we just need to approve the grant application along and without. I move that we approve the grant application to the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security 2022-2023 SHSP funding to support the purchase of a generator for Whiteville Volunteer Fire Department.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, item 23, present for approval, grant application to the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security 2020-2023 SHSP funding to support the purchase of mobile and portable radios. Kate.
So this is the same grant that we're going after. This one is for the purchase of 9 mobile and 15 portable radios for the fire district, again, in preparation for fire season. Many of these radios will allow those departments to communicate over the state line with Laramie County, Colorado. We just had MOUs signed with them to get their channels in our radios, but they are on a 800 megahertz system. So we need different radios for the department so they can communicate across state lines in case we have a incident that crosses over.
I have a question.
Sure.
What's the difference between mobile and portable?
Mobile is in the truck and portable are the handhelds.
And then there were 2 quotes, one from Motorola and one from Index King, it looks like.
Yep. And so it's a combination of both.
Okay.
So the total is $119,307.90. And again, hopefully we get the full amount and no match we need from the county.
I move we approve the grant application to Wyoming Office of Homeland Security 2022-2023 SHSP funding to support the purchase of mobile and portable radios.
I have a discussion on it real quick. Whose property do these become? Do these belong to the county or will these be gifted to the district?
Nope, they remain property of the county, as does the generator.
How does that work with radios that are already in circulation? Are those property, are they buried or because we have an issue with one of the volunteer auxiliaries may or may not possess county or district equipment? Is there any caveat or any way to find out who actually funded those radios?
So we track all the radios through our office. I can get with you after the meeting and we can figure out what radios those are and we can ask Wyolink to figure out
Because
who
I have a
those are
conference call
assigned
with
to.
Wyoming tomorrow, so that's probably it. It'll come up.
Okay,
So,
yep, we can track those for sure.
and I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Thank you.
carries. Thank you, Kate. Oh, and thank you for the shelter preparation you had to do this weekend for the highway closure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Those are, so,
What?
I thought she was doing that too. Never mind.
Item 24, present for approval, grant application to the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security 2022-2023. Did I just do this one?
No,
Oh,
They all sound the same.
they do.
3 in a row.
SHSP funding to support the purchase of a search and rescue boat. Okay. Good
Commissioners.
morning, Aaron.
Morning. So this is the third application that we're sending for leftover funding from 22-23 on SHSP. This application is for a search and rescue boat, though, that we currently have in the sheriff's office. Does not give us confidence to use it. And for a lot of our search, rescue and recovery calls that we've had to go on the last 3-4 years, our dive team is not solely used in Albany County. It's now have become the Southeast Regional Search and Rescue and Recovery Dive Team for a lot of our waterways in Southeast Wyoming. And so it's the reason why we're sending an application into State Homeland Security to get a replacement of that boat.
Just a quick question, if you were to go take our search and rescue team to Garvin County for whatever reason, is that free? Is that done free by your office, search and rescue?
Yeah, the costs are split up. If it's a search and rescue call, we can ask for reimbursement of particular items from the state search and rescue council. So if there's equipment that gets broken, gas, food, that type of thing for long operations, we can ask for reimbursement for that. The payment and overtime and salaries, the county gets that cost, beats that cost.
How about the insurance associated with that?
The insurance is essentially split between all of the entities that are involved. So some of it is on us. Like I said, if there's a injury or something, so workman's comp claim would come from our insurance. Like I said, if one of our equipment is damaged, that we can get reimbursed from Search and Rescue Council. So any other type of items that we request in from either the state or from other entities, that can get covered by the Search and Rescue Council. So we do put in your semi-annually reimbursements to the Search and Rescue Council. They meet every 6 months to go over, and we send them our list of search and rescue operations on there for reimbursement. So like I said, it's split between the entities. For the most part, we're up, we cover those costs up and then we get reimbursement at a later time.
Thank you, Sheriff.
How often does the either dive team or how often do you have to get a boat out?
We use our boat for training more often than not. For the rescue operations, like I said, we don't have confidence in that.
So it doesn't go out with the,
It does not go out.
Okay.
When we go, we try and use other equipment if it's available.
I'm assuming the boat you're referring to is the trade-in, the 2012
Yeah,
16-footer here?
yeah. We don't want to create a second search and rescue operation
No.
by
No,
utilizing.
Don't want to tether the deputies to.
No, I do not.
Well, Madam Chair, I move that we approve the Wyoming law enforcement, well,
24.
next one up, sorry.
Yep.
Approve the grant application for the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security 2022-2023 SHSP funding to support the purchase of a search and rescue boat.
Second.
all those in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I have quite a picture in my head now.
Yeah, it's a metal boat with a pretty shoddy engine on there. It does not go very fast, and
Well, it doesn't start. That's it.
it does.
Item 25, present for approval Wyoming Law Enforcement Extraterritorial Assistant Memorandum of Understanding between the Albany County Sheriff's Office and Wyoming State Parks. Aaron.
Commissioners, yes. So last year, the law changed that allowed Wyoming State Parks to enter into MOU agreements with law enforcement to provide law enforcement services. We then entered into a grant with state parks to do special duty overtime to check ORV tags and do education patrols during snowmobile season in our areas here in the county. That grant requires that we have 2 deputies go out after we work that grant. During the winter is a very busy time with us, and we don't always necessarily have 2 deputies to be able to go out. This MOU will allow us to get into an agreement with state parks to where we can pull a state parks law enforcement officer to come help us with that grant on there as well. It also allows us to, if there's any help that they need on their jurisdiction for us to help, we can do that as well. We have a couple, we have a Ames Monument, the Wyoming Territorial Prison, North Crow, and then on our border, obviously, is Kurt Gowdy State Park. A lot of the other water rescues that we've had over the years have also been in state parks as well. So Glendale and Grey Rock's the same. So this will help aid in making everything pretty legal, pretty cooperative. We have a good relationship with Wyoming State Parks as well, so.
Any questions? That
No, I'm moving we approve Wyoming Law Enforcement Extraterritorial Assistance Memorandum of Understanding between the Albany County Sheriff's Office and Wyoming State Parks.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Present for approval application to the Wyoming Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police for Wyoming detention centers to support efforts and reduce overdose deaths. Funds for the purchase of a medical scanner. Aaron.
Yes, Commissioners, WASCOP has a grant available that they've received from federal opioid funds to fund 2 special projects in jails. One is for a body scanner, and the other one is for medical scanners to reduce opioid deaths. Albany County Sheriff's Office already has a body scanner at our jail, and so we are applying for funds to get medical scanners. So it's essentially a wristband that'll go on inmates, and then we'll have scanner set up to where we can go ahead and essentially monitor vitals 24/7. So it's a high upfront cost. That's why we haven't been able to do it in the past. But with this grant, we'll be able to hopefully be awarded those funds, get that installed. It's a fairly low recurring maintenance cost on there. So that's what we're looking to do.
Is the intention to everybody coming in or anybody suspected of an overdose or?
It depends on how much money that we get
Okay.
on there, but the plan is to have everybody.
Okay.
Blood pressure, pulse, O2.
All of the above. So.
I move that we approve the application of the Wyoming Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police for the Wyoming detention centers to support efforts and reduce overdose death funds for the purchase of medical scanners.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 27, present for approval, application to the Wyoming Department of Transportation for the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration funds to fund Albany County Sheriff's Department in overtime enforcement of impaired driving and occupant protection. High visibility for fiscal year 2027.
Yes, Commissioners, this is the beginning of our yearly process we have for grant funds for high visibility enforcement for DUI and occupant protection, seatbelts on there as well. So it's a 3-step process where we've been getting a letter to invite us to apply for those funds. In a couple months, we'll get a letter awarding us those funds. And then towards the end of the federal fiscal year, closer to September, October, we'll get a 3rd letter from the Wyoming Department of Transportation awarding us those funds. So this is just the first part of the process.
Any questions?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the application to the YDOT for the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration funds, Albany County Sheriff's Department in overtime enforcement of impaired driving and occupant protection, high visibility for fiscal year 27.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 28, present for approval amendment 2 to the fiscal year 2022-2023 subrecipient funding from the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention and University of Wyoming and Wyoming Survey and Analysis Center through September 30th, 2026. in the total amount of $187,500. Good morning, Bailey,
Good
again.
morning. So probably don't remember, but it was over a year ago that we applied for this funding. We kind of were told it was a different pot of funding than what we currently already had. This is for the court-appointed mentorship program, so camp. It's to go along with the juvenile diversion program. Again, we contract with Big Brothers Big Sisters to complete the program. So, but we applied for this over a year ago. Never heard anything. Finally, we hear towards the end of last year, okay, we're gonna be awarded. Well, then my timeline has shrunk immensely. We have 9 months to finish the program. So, after talking with Kurt, talking with Steve, and talking with YSAC, YSAC is anticipating getting a extension on this funding for another year. So we decided to move forward with the program. So instead of a whole new agreement, it's just an amendment to the current agreements we already have with YSAC, that this piece of this program will be coming out of. I know it's very confusing.
This is one heck of an application too.
And this is just the data.
No, this is court-appointed mentorship program. So what we put in the application was for Big Brothers Big Sisters to hire another personnel, a 1 FTE for youth recreation activities. Because I believe what they're, Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe kind of what they're finding too is getting them more involved in these recreation activities helps with the diversion process. So some of those, and then we did put indirect costs.
And all of that is updated in that statement of work for this amendment from what was in the prior.
But the biggest concern we have in talking with Steve is how do you hire somebody for, less than 9 months? We're already in October, or we're already in March. So now we're looking at 6 months. And we've expressed our concerns with YSAC. They assure this is their federal grant. So just knowing that process of what they have to do to go through the extension, I know it takes about 2 months to hear back from them. And especially right now, it'll take even longer with still partial shutdown at the federal level. So talking with Steve, we just kind of worked out that he has current personnel that are interested in this, being part of this program, and then hoping to move that to full time as soon as we hear about that extension. And then I'm assuming we will have a third amendment with YSAC in regards to that extension.
You're right, this is confusing.
Oh yeah, we went back and forth quite a bit.
The dodging of the federal government was super fun and useful, as it turned out. I present for approval Amendment 2 to the fiscal year 2022-2023 subrecipient funding from the Office of Delinquency Prevention, the University of Wyoming Survey and Analysis Center through September 30th, 2026, in the amount of $187,500.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 29, present for approval memorandum of understanding between the Board of Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming, and the Albany County District Court Commissioner H. Michael Bennett for services for Integrated Juvenile Treatment Program from April 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027, not to exceed $13,750. Hi, Heather.
Hello, Commissioners, Madam Chair. This is for replacement of our current juvenile magistrate for our IGTP program, Patty Bennett. She was promoted to state public defender. And so Mr. Michael Bennett has been met with Judge Westby and has been granted deputy commissioner under district court, which allows him to serve as our magistrate. This would fulfill the rest of this year through the end of June, as well as next year. The funding comes from our state grant, our state application funding from the judicial branch when we get our funding.
I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding between the Board of County Commissioners of Albany County and Albany County District Court. Commissioner H. Michael Bennett for services for the Integrated Juvenile Treatment Program from April 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027, not to exceed $13,750.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 30, present for approval the nomination of Jeffrey Van Fleet and Joshua Marcel as part-time magistrates for Circuit Court of the Second Judicial District, Albany County, State of Wyoming, pursuant to Wyoming Statute 5-9-210. Jennifer.
Good morning, Commissioners. So at the request of Judge Sanford, who is the Circuit Court Judge, he would like to appoint both Mr. Van Fleet and Mr. Marcial as part-time magistrates and they fill in for him should he be unavailable.
This is due to his anticipated military service. Is that kind of what I believe?
Yes, he currently, I believe there's maybe one or two other magistrates that have been appointed. But this is to add additional ones should he be deployed or have to serve additional military duties.
I think I'm correct in understanding the state was trying to get rid of the magistrate position and just service it with circuit court judges.
So we don't have a full-time magistrate position at all. We have a circuit court judge and the magistrates only fill in for that circuit court judge and act in his stead should he be unavailable.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the nomination of Jeffrey Van Fleet and Joshua Marcel as part-time magistrates for the Circuit Court of the Second Judicial District, Albany County, State of Wyoming, pursuant to Wyoming State Statute 5-9-210.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 31, present for approval participation agreement for the new National Opioids 6 Remnant Defendants Settlement and Direct Kurt Bristus to sign.
So good morning again. So we have had several opioid settlements come before you before. The prior ones have all funneled through the state and then the state got the funds and then distributed them pursuant to their percentages. This one specifically goes directly to the entity, so to us as the county, but similar process. It's these 6 remnant defendants. As everything gets settled out, we'll get the percentage that they have determined. We just have to opt into participation.
Jennifer, did I get that correctly? That's $97 million between 50 states.
Less all the fees,
All the fees.
the attorney's fees. It's defined in there. I think they're by 18 million, 25 million, something like that. So whatever it is, the settlement less whatever approved, the fees that the judge has approved, then yes, it'll get, and it's not just the states, it's counties, it's cities, it's municipalities, whoever shows up in their formula. It's not all of them. So there are counties in this there are counties that are not in this settlement that had been participating before. And I don't know how they determined that.
It's this outrageous state-owned percentage. It says in the county and like 10 digits behind the decimal.
Yes, so that's the percentage that we're getting, but I don't even know how they determined who's on that list. Because when we had our civil attorney call a couple of weeks ago, there were counties who had participated through the state program, the federal one that was distributed to the state that were eligible, that are not eligible in this round.
I move that we approve the participating agreement for the new National Opioid 6 Remnant Defendant Settlement and direct Kurt Bristus to sign.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 32, present for approval First Amendment to agreement between the Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming and Windfall Roofing and Exteriors for removal and replacement of the roof of the Albany County Fairgrounds Activity Building to extend completion date to June 15th, 2026.
So our original completion date was April 1st. The materials are sitting at the fairgrounds and have been there for the last 10 days or 2 weeks. But with our wind, they have not been able to do anything about that. So Jake recommended this extension to mid-June. And in conjunction with that, with approval of insurance, which we already have, we're going to put some type of moisture barrier on that roof to be held down by furring strips. So if we get additional moisture, we are not continuing leaking into the building and causing additional damage. We thought we weren't gonna have to do that because our hope was to have this replaced so quickly, but now that that is not a possibility because weather won't cooperate, we are doing a couple
No,
of
the
other
wind
things.
machine just keeps on.
Just
keeping
keeps
on.
going.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the first amendment to the agreement between the Board of Commissioners, the County of Albany, Wyoming, and Windfall Roofing and Exteriors for removal and replacement of the roof of the Albany County Fairgrounds Activity Building to extend the completion date to June 15th, 2026.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And we'll keep our fingers crossed for
Yeah,
sure.
right. Apparently the county engineer feels that June will be a calmer month.
Yes,
Hopefully there's enough days between now and then.
Who knows?
yes. Well, like I said, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Acknowledge receipt of the resignation of Anissa McDonald from Albany County Transportation Authority and direct the clerk to advertise the vacancy.
Madam Chair, I move we acknowledge and receive the resignation of Denise McDonald from the Albany County Transportation Authority and direct the clerk to advertise.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 34, take from the table transfer of retail liquor license from Barrett Trading Post LLC to Trading Post Centennial LLC. Kayla.
You can take it from the table.
Madam Chair, go ahead.
Madam Chair, I move we take from the table to transfer the retail liquor license from Barrett Trading Post LLC to Trading Post Centennial LLC.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 35, present for approval, transfer of retail liquor license from Barrett Trading Post LLC to Trading Post Centennial LLC. Kayla.
Morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. As you know, we took this off the table. It was presented for public hearing and for approval last meeting on the 3rd. There were some corrections that needed to be made. Nita was able to make those corrections. They're just transferring their liquor license back to them from Barrett Trading Post. If Nita would like to speak, you're more than welcome to come up and do that if you'd like. But everything is good through the Liquor Commission now, so we're set to go.
Lyle, who had leased it, he decided not to lease it anymore, so we need the liquor license back and we're gonna open in April.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
I move that we approve the transfer of the retail liquor license from Barrett Trading Post LLC to Trading Post Centennial LLC.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 36, discuss available retail liquor license in Albany County and direct the clerk to advertise the license.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, so at that same meeting in March 3rd, we had 2 liquor licenses that were going to go forward for a transfer and then for another transfer, and that is for the new owners for Albany Lodge, which is the Viking Resort. Because of some unforeseen issues with the liquor license that was held by Albany Lodge, the bank had decided to not transfer that license into their name. Therefore, that license then reverts back to the county. So my question is for you guys this morning. I can advertise for that license. I've got a notice ready if that's the direction you'd like to go. I'll advertise for 2 weeks and then open the applications up and have them due. And then I'll bring those applications back forward to you guys. And whether or not you would like to issue the license right away. We are going through renewals right now. So If you guys choose to go that route, I would ask that whoever applies for the license also applies for the renewal at the same time. So it's gonna be a new license and a renewal at the same time so that they fall within that same time period. So I'm just asking for your guys' direction as to how you guys would like me to move forward. Mr. Archer is here. He's the new owner of the lodge up there. Him and his wife stopped in last week. We were able to chat a little bit, but it's really up to you guys as to what direction you'd like me to move forward with the license.
Which would you prefer? I mean,
It's really up to you guys, how you guys would like me to move forward. I can put it out there. You can allow them to apply for it. It's really up to you guys how you guys would like to move forward. I'm at your whim. You just tell me what you'd like me to do and I'm happy to do it.
But this is of no fault of the applicants.
It is not. No, if hindsight, like Jennifer and I thought, if we would have known all of this, and I think if they would have known then too, we would have gone in a totally different direction, but we're at where we're at right now. And ultimately, the license goes back to the jurisdiction, which is the county. Therefore, you guys hold that license and you guys can choose what you would like to do with that license.
Have you had any other inquiries about this license?
I have not.
Any other license?
No, as you guys know, in, what was it, November, we had 2 available licenses due to the population change. We had 2 applicants. Those are now full. One of them was a new license holder. One was Oak Crow, which was a restaurant liquor license holder. So I mean, we had 2 open, 2 people applied. I don't know if anybody will apply. I don't know.
I think we should probably just follow the process
Okay.
that we did before. Whoever applies and then we'll sort it out.
Yep, and I'll bring those applications forward at the April 7th meeting. I've got it advertised for the 21st and 28th.
And then whoever selected, then we'll also be renewing that same
At the same
license.
time.
Okay.
Yep.
Just put everything at the same time.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
You need anything?
Maybe just direct me to add, I guess you could just approve this. And then
Madam Chair, I move that
direct-
we approve the retail liquor license of Albany County, direct clerk to advertise necessary.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 37% for approval, Amendment 1 to real property lease number 8-09769 between the Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany and State of Wyoming Department of Administration and Information General Service Division.
Good morning.
You don't look like Kim.
Kim couldn't be here this morning. They are shorthanded in their office due to spring break and she did not want to leave their one new nurse there by herself. So I am here. We have gotten the renewal request from WIC to renew their lease for their space within the public health building. Their original lease began in July of 2022, expires in June of this year. That original lease was for $6,850 a year, which is $548.33 a month. It's approximately 887 square feet. So Kim does not have an issue with the renewal itself. We are here to ask you if we want to increase the rental amount from what it's been for the last 4 years, for the next 4 years. The lease does include that the county, as part of this being in the public health building, pays for the custodial services, snow removal, and the utilities for the building.
There wasn't an escalator in the contract.
There was not. It's a fixed price or was a fixed price for those first 4 years.
It seemed like a reasonable rate, quite honestly.
Yeah, I
Knowing what I know about.
The building and, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. We just didn't want to tell them to move forward on their side until we were certain that there wasn't any changes that were necessary or requested from you.
Madam
Okay,
Chair, I move we approve the amendment 1 to the real property lease number 8-09769 between the Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany and the State of Wyoming, Department of Administration and Information, General Services Division as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 38, make appointment to the Albany County Commissioner Scholarship Committee.
Madam Chair, I move that we appoint David Hammond to the Albany County Scholarship Committee.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you to David for applying. Item 39, executive session pursuant to Wyoming statute 16-4-405A triple I.
Madam Chair, I move that we enter a new executive session pursuant to Wyoming statute 16-4-405A triple I.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We'll go into executive session in 51. Item 41, return to regular session. May I have a motion to return to regular session?
Madam Chair, I move we return to regular session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 42, action required.
Madam Chair, I move that we direct the chairperson to sign the amended verified motion for the order to show cause in case number 2023-CD-36107.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. May I have a motion to move out? Oh, we already are. Okay. Item 43, approve payroll and vouchers for March 2026.
Madam Chair, I move we approve payroll vouchers for March 2026.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 44, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Right, you want these?